Here's part two. Getting specific, getting detailed with your desires. The lack of doing so comes from scarcity. The idea that you want to leave all possibilities open and staying vague because of that comes from scarcity. It's a cop out. What happens when you get specific, like I did in my last video? I was talking about the lover. I was talking about the conversation where everything feels like flirtation and foreplay and their interest and intrigue in me and their exploration of my body. When I have been with people, and unfortunately I have been with a lot, I don't mean a lot, but a lot under these circumstances where that is not the case. I mean, I said this in the last video too, but I'm emphasizing it here. I feel an enormous gap. I'm like, so if I follow that whole series of thoughts through, I come across a man, maybe I'll be specific in my description here. The last guy that I dated, we met. He had all of these qualities that I really enjoyed about him. We would talk for hours every single time we saw each other. And then we started to sleep together. And in all of the 2 to 3 years that we were sleeping together, he barely explored my body, barely. And I felt that every time at the beginning, at the front end, I felt that absence. Again, here's my word, grief. I felt it as this deep grief. I felt it as a lack of connection. I felt like it's better to not have than to have this at an emotional level. But then I stayed because of scarcity. I stayed because of scarcity because nobody else was doing this for me. It had been a really long time before him. And if I let this go, what does that mean? Where's the next one? Am I going to have a really long time afterward? And the answer is yes, actually. It has been a really long time, but that's because I got to the point where I was like, this is just not worth it for a lot of reasons, not just because of that one. But scarcity is what kept me with this person, like being open to whatever version showed up is what kept me with this person for years and in ongoing dissatisfaction. And then that dissatisfaction became, I'm done. Done. Bye. Never again. See ya. Connecting to my desire, like I did in the last video, in this deep, specific, detailed way, that turns it on in me. That makes it alive in me. And now I'm sending that signal. Now I've claimed it. And the people that don't fit that description are going to sit down. They're going to walk away. They're going to be like, I'm not interested in that. Cool. Because I would rather find the people who are interested in that than be with somebody else who, like, when we're physically connected to each other, I'm in grief and mourning and yearning because I'm dissatisfied. So I'm obviously talking about a very specific example and a very specific realm of life. But where do you experience this? Like, where have you kept your desires really broad so that when they come in and they technically meet that broad idea, you are still missing something vital. You're missing a vital nutrient. You're missing a vital ingredient because you weren't clear enough or you didn't hold your standard up. I intentionally follow people online who hold standards that I don't even necessarily know that I need those standards to be mine, but they are so absurd from what I learned a standard could be that I just love following them because I'm like, oh, you can claim this. Like you can claim one man and one woman I'm thinking of specifically, and both of them speak to showering women with gifts, showering women with money. And again, it's not that I necessarily am looking for that, but I was definitely brought up to think that's, I don't even know what, absurd, out of the realm of possibility. And just the idea that there's a man who loves to do that, and there's a woman who that's the only thing she will accept, and people respond, that teaches me that my desires, like I can claim them and they can be fulfilled. And I was speaking the other day about, I'm really enjoying this word standard. Like when your perception shifts, when you claim your desire, when you see the patterns that you've been playing out that were dysfunctional, you naturally step into a new standard. And it's easy to uphold. The thing that was before, the version of you that was before, the timeline that you were in before no longer makes sense. It's no longer, you can't even tolerate it anymore. And I will hear other people's questions, whether or not they're happening or not. But I'll put something out and I can imagine what other people might be asking. And one of those is, I've been doing this series of videos, going through my journal, and I imagine this question of, well, what are you doing? You're not manifesting, you're just clarifying your desires, you're talking about how you feel, all of that. And I have said this thing consistently, which is the more congruent you are, the more of a signal you become, and that's true. But I want to say this from a just personal experience standpoint. So, one of the laws of manifestation is the law of assumption. So, if you assume something is going to happen, it's going to happen. Or I've heard somebody say it in terms of like certainty changes your reality. Like if you become certain of something, it changes your reality. So, this is in that realm. As I have been diving into my desires, pulling up the emotions that have been keeping me from the things that I want, clarifying, detailing, getting specific, all this stuff. It feels yummy and it lights these things up in me. And now they're just humming at my core. I feel them humming. And I don't feel like I have to go do something right now. I will get to action, but I don't feel like I have to go do something right now. I feel like I'm lighting up parts of myself that were hibernating, dormant, somewhere in there. They were in my brain as ideas, like I know I still want this. But now they're becoming part of my systemic experience of like when I'm walking my dog, they're alive in me. And that feeling innately comes with a sense of certainty. And I don't feel like have to do anything. I will do something, but I don't feel like I have to go find the step next. I'm like, oh yeah, this is a part of who I am. And that in itself is amazing. And that in itself sends out that signal, like I was saying. And when I'm not in distress, which I'm not, and it like fortifies me, it fortifies who I am walking in the world, and it fortifies how other people are experiencing me because I'm emitting these new signals that I've connected to. And things get to respond to me. And like when the next step arrives, when my action step arrives, it will be clear. It'll be clear, like, oh, now I should go search for this, or this is the thing that I want to find. Or if something comes to me, it'll be really easy to know if it's part of these desires that I'm talking about. Like, is this in my standards? If not, again, no, move along. And if it is, like, okay, you've now become an artifact in my journey. And it's like returning my power to me. It's returning my fortification to me. And that is powerful. And that is how you start to magnetize. And that is how the universe starts to respond to you. Be like, oh, look at her hum. Look at her humming. We want to get in on that. That's hot. Be patient. No, you don't have to be patient. Just follow along. Just do the exercises. Experience it for yourself.